Most of us walk around with an immense capability in our pockets, yet we spend a surprising amount of time feeling vaguely guilty about it. We rely on the device for nearly everything, while quietly worrying about our screen time. Despite this lingering tension, our physical reality tells a different story. Whether you wait for a bus or sit in a cafe, society remains completely tethered to these glowing screens in almost every public space. Curious, this everyday paradox leads to a highly specific inquiry from a user. Is the smartphone literally a modern forbidden fruit? To find an accurate answer, we have to strip away the poetic metaphors and treat the mythological forbidden fruit as a strict, testable psychological framework. At its mechanical core, the original myth is rarely about the specific rule being broken. It describes the act of crossing an irreversible threshold. It outlines a specific transaction, the permanent exchange of blissful innocence for omniscience. The defining characteristic of this transaction is permanent exile. Acquiring the knowledge inherently destroys the previous state of existence. You cannot return. Look at the first half of that definition. The smartphone directly mimics the promise of total awareness. This chart tracks global information access alongside mobile device adoption over the last 20 years. It reveals a massive hockey stick growth curve that effectively places the entirety of recorded human knowledge into an individual's pocket. Instantly pulling up any map, statistic, or historical document rewrites the baseline of what a single human mind is expected to accomplish. It provides an extraordinary level of power to the average user. Humanity undeniably acquired the knowledge. That half of the mythological bargain is complete. But every transaction requires payment. We need to identify the specific paradise humanity was exiled from to get this connectivity. Look at this pre-digital street scene. It represents a time of undivided attention, where humans possessed the undisputed physical right to exist completely offline. Today, our attention is highly fractured. We maintain an active, unyielding tether to employers, news cycles, and social spheres, which carries documented psychological friction and mental health impacts. That quiet, disconnected default state is gone. The total loss of our offline sanctuary directly mirrors the myth's requirement of a permanent exile. Modern sociologists and technologists are deeply divided over the value of this trade. The pessimistic view argues that this constant state of hyper-awareness acts as a curse. They suggest the human brain was never built to process a global fire hose of information without breaking down. The utopian counterargument views the device very differently. From Flint to the printing press to the microchip, they see technology constantly scaling up to augment human limitations. From this perspective, the collective longing for a simpler, offline past is merely misplaced nostalgia for an era when we were simply less capable. Whether you view the screen as a heavy psychological tax or a brilliant evolutionary step, both sides agree on the outcome, a division between the before and the after. Which brings us back to the strict framework of the user's inquiry. The core rule of the myth is permanence. You cannot uneat the fruit. Look at this timeline separating the pre-smartphone and post-smartphone eras. The global adoption of the mobile internet breaks the bridge back to the disconnected world. The device clearly meets the criteria. It is our forbidden fruit, and the path back to the societal norms of the 1990s is burned entirely. This explains why temporary digital detoxes rarely provide lasting relief. They are futile attempts to briefly visit an Eden that no longer exists. Instead of harboring lingering guilt over holding the device, our energy is better spent on active adaptation to our new reality. True wisdom lies in mastering the hyper-connected world we chose to enter, rather than mourning the garden we left behind.